do. So what was going through your mind at the time?
My first thought literally was, this is how it feels. I've never been assaulted before. And my second thought was, at least he doesn't have a gun. That's all I kept thinking. He doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
Everyone said, join Loft. Call the join.
Not the Loft.
They said, did you post in Loft? And what's Loft gonna do? I'm gonna look crazy.
Loft is us. We
are Loft. Also, there's no shade to the Soul Global Center, but they can only do so much.
That's making me cry.
Girl, what am I doing with Loft? I was having this conversation yesterday. People see 1 or 2 minutes of you online and they just think they know you, this perception. But what you're seeing is a character and an over-exaggerated part of my personality.
Yeah.
I had imposter syndrome when I came to Korea, big time, because this is a good story. When I lived out of Seoul,
Mic check. 1, 2. Are we good? All right, cool. Wow. Okay, guys, if you see me smiling excessively, I'm really excited and a little nervous. But hey, guys, it's me, Keeds, Keedinator, Keedatron, Keeds and Crates. I got the Keeds. Whatever you want to call me, that is me. I am back in studio. Can we get a round of applause? It's been such a long time. Wow, it's been literally a year. No. Almost 2 years.
Oh my God.
Almost 2 years since I've recorded a podcast episode. So if it takes me a little while, you guys, to get back into the swing of things, just bear with me. We'll get there. I am sitting next to my guest, the first guest of season 2 of the Sobe podcast. I'll get into that in a second. Can you introduce yourself, sir?
What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick, known as the Expat Pat on TikTok and Instagram. And thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. The Expat. Can I call you Patrick or Pat?
Pat.
Okay, I've been calling you Pat the whole time, so I was like, is that okay?
As long as the check clears, we are good.
All right. So. He's not getting paid for this, so don't come in here expecting that you're going to be getting checks if I invite you. Okay. So thank you for coming, Pat. You made the trek over here to the studio.
All good.
So I quickly want to talk about something. I've talked about it on the Instagram, on my personal, and on which was the Soju Black at the time. I do need to touch on the name change. For people that are not familiar and don't follow me on any of those platforms, you should. It's at the Sobe Pod and at Miss Keys. But yes, the name has changed. And if you guys have been #Soju Black fam, you remembered Soju Black being myself and V. And that's how it was for almost 2 years. But V is now back in South Africa. So the Sobe podcast is quite different because it's just going to be me. I will be having recurring guests. I am still leaving the door open that I possibly may bring on a permanent co-host. As of now, that's not what it is. However, like I said, I change my mind all the time depending on if I meet someone. I'm like, I think this will work. And if that person, is open to it. Definitely. But that's why it's changed. Sobe or Soju to Sobe. There's a few other reasons, but I will get into that in another episode because right now, no one wants to hear about that. No, we don't. We're sitting with the Expat Pat or Pat on Instagram and TikTok. And Pat, I just want to get to know you. We were talking a little bit before we started, but can you explain to our Sobe fam who you are?
Yes.
And why are you here in Korea? What brought you here?
I'm still trying to figure that out. But my name is Patrick, born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and I moved to South Korea in 2017 as a teacher. And thankfully, due to TikTok, the past 2 years of my life has been pretty crazy because I've been able to kind of grow a lot on social media, kind of get some recognition, and I've been hustling even before TikTok on Instagram, kind of not really going anywhere. So I'm very thankful for TikTok, and now I kind of have a small voice in the expat community.
You don't need to try to act. No, don't be humble. He has probably one of the bigger expat voices in Korea. And I'd be seeing your Instagram stories when people are like, oh my God, it's Pat. So please don't humble. Okay? Accept it, own it.
I try.
Yes. Okay. So you said your TikTok has gotten kind of crazy. Can you expand? What do you mean?
Yeah, so just like most millennials my age, when I downloaded TikTok when the quarantine happened.
Right.
no idea what I was doing. I wasn't about to dance. And so I just started talking about Korea because there's no one else. I mean, we didn't know what the app was doing yet. And my first viral video, I walked into an empty building in Hongdae area. Turned out it was Blackpink's old house, which I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't know at the time?
I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
I just saw this beautiful pink house and the door was open.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be open, but
right?
It was open. And I uploaded to Instagram and I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I had 1,000 likes, which has never happened at that time.
Right.
Then it went viral. And I was like, okay, that's crazy. I've never had like a viral thing. Then I posted it on TikTok. And then within a week, I had 25,000 followers from that one video.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was able to go viral. Yeah. And then ever since then, I've just been talking about COVID news because well, you weren't here, but it's very confusing. We had so many rules and changes. Yes. And then unfortunately, I did see a darker side to South Korea, which we'll talk a little bit about. And I shed some light about discrimination against foreigners in South Korea. And that's kind of been my platform while showing hot places like cafes, bars, and restaurants.
Yeah.
So it's truly a mix of everything.
Yeah, and I would agree with that because I actually, one of your first videos that I saw, I know the video you're talking about, the Blackpink video, but that wasn't even the first video that I saw of yours. It was, and this was probably really far down your like line of like videos. I know, and I feel like I should have probably seen other ones before, but it was the one of the Black women in Hanbok. Like you were inviting. I think you posted in one of the Facebook groups inviting us or inviting women to it.
The Facebook group we're in, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the first videos I saw of yours.
That was,
I was like,
I think before TikTok actually.
Okay, so maybe
that was before the Corona.
Yes, it definitely was before Corona. Okay, so I wasn't like that far from when you
2 months before. So that was October 2019.
Yeah, right around
and COVID was about 4 months later.
Okay. All right, that was my first video. And I remember seeing your video and I was like, oh, I really like, because I like how it was shot. I don't know if, did you shoot that? Or
that was, yeah. I had
you shot it. Oh, okay.
All iPhone.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, because I saw it and I was like, this is really good quality. I like this. And then like I remember like thinking, I was like, okay, I like what you're posting. And then I think it was around the George Floyd time you posted that other video and I was just like, I really like the content that you're posting. And then I started seeing your TikToks.
Right. That's when I was heavy in TikTok.
Yeah, that's when.
BLM was during kind of when TikTok was new. And so we were actually, I was part of the BLM project in South Korea. I didn't even know how to incorporate TikTok yet because I wasn't active. So I was like, I just let somebody else handle that. Like, what are we going to dance? I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I just did the social media portion of BLM. But yeah.
I saw a lot of the videos and I appreciated because I don't know if you saw I was posting a lot of your updates on my Instagram because I was like,
you've been supportive.
Because I thought what you were doing was great because no one, like you said, no one was posting about it, right? No one was sharing these things because I don't know if people just don't want to talk about certain things and they're afraid kind of the backlash, like, oh, then leave, you know? That's always what people want to tell you, like, then why are you here? That's, you know?
Those are the three main comments.
Yeah, go back home.
Go back home. If you're not happy, then leave.
Yeah.
Someone else named Trump said that.
Right, and let's see who's in office, right? He's not there. But I do appreciate that you have been consistent.
Trying.
Because the other week I was with a friend of mine and I mentioned that you were coming on. The only person I told because I didn't want to tell anyone. And I was just like, you know, I really appreciate how consistent he was, you know, because I know I've slacked off with my consistency in posting, but you have been on it. So I'm glad to see it.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Or I've been this way.
Yeah.
People don't get that part.
Right.
I've been doing this.
When you say been doing it, what have you been doing?
I've been kind of vocal about just any minority discrimination. I've just always been that guy in high school that's not a political activist, but just always speaking up for not the little guy, but just anyone who doesn't have a voice. I've just kind of always been like this.
Yeah.
And so you give me a microphone, it's over. And that's what, thank God, I've been able to do on TikTok.
And I want to ask a question about that because I think on your Instagram you had mentioned that you were taking a break from Instagram. I think so the posting, right? Like the keeping up with what's going on. How does that affect you? like your mental health, or if it does at all. And
it does. Yeah. Just because it's so I think this whole TikTok thing, there's this, it's everyone's your bestie.
Yeah.
Right. So TikTok, I've noticed, is way more intimate, and the connection with the audience, it feels as they feel like they're your friends in real life, and that's good. Yeah. But also, it's kind of demanding.
Yeah.
And when I'm in Seoul, even today, I have 15 messages. Hey, bestie. I'm in,
Not the bestie.
And I'm like, we've never met. I don't know you. And I have to create boundaries. Right. So I think the hardest thing for me is creating boundaries with people that I don't know, because there's this assumption that they know me. But unfortunately, they don't.
They don't know you.
They don't know me.
Yeah.
I even get invited to people's houses and families, and I'm like, but what? You only know me from the internet. What if in real life I'm crazy?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't invite people over to your house.
Were you like that before? Like, were you actually taking people up on these offers? You're like, oh yeah, hey, I'll come over.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think I burnt myself out. And I learned, especially now, this was before I kind of had a big following. I was always down to meet new people, network. But now, even when I come to Seoul, I can't see all my friends. So I have to kind of rotate. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have time to see tourists, and I want to meet people who supported me, but I'm only one person. So.
And you were actually meeting people that wanted to come to Korea to see you? Like, they were like, hey, I don't know you.
Before,
and you were going?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you were taking them around and stuff? And
I would show them around, yeah. I mean,
were you getting paid?
That's what I messed up. I should have been. Yeah, I know. I was too nice.
I feel you. Yeah. But you've realized.
I know my worth.
Yeah, you do.
I learn my worth.
That's. I completely agree with you, because I would say when I left Korea, I was that way too. Like, always out in the streets, like hanging out with everyone, like being the super like, hey, yeah, come through, come to my place, yeah, like come meet my friends. And I got back and I was like, I'm not doing that at all. Like, I'm not doing it. And I think now when I'm around people that I was around then, it's almost like they don't really like the person, you know, like not that they don't like me, but there's a vast difference between how I was then to now, right?
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
A global pandemic.
A 30, you know, we're both in our 30s, so it's a different, you know,
absolutely,
vibe and energy that we're willing to give out. So I'm with you on that.
Good.
Actually, jump back a little bit, right? For a little, we'll come back to the TikTok, because there is clearly something that we have to talk about via TikTok and social media. But I want to know a little bit about you prior to Korea. I know you moved from Texas, right? But what brought you here? Like, why here?
So I think I have a pretty good inspirational story. Okay. I'm a single child, 2 working parents, grew up middle class, not broke, not rich. And I kind of had the golden ticket to college where everything was paid for. And the only thing I had to do was just kind of go. And I definitely took advantage of that. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep up my end of the deal. And joined a fraternity, got a 0.5 GPA first semester, 1.1 second semester. And I dropped out, went to community college for a year, came back, did it again. My dad, rightfully so, said, we're done. Like, as far as pursuing college for you. And it was rough, and I dropped out of college for a few years, waited tables, worked retail, everything under the sun, and I was getting emotional when I talk about this.
I'm sorry?
I was getting emotional when No, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Just, waiting tables for a few years, and then when I was 23, I put myself back in school, and I hustled my ass off for 4 years, and I graduated at 27 years old.
Great story.
So it was lots of hard work. I got the plasma scars to prove it, donating plasma.
Oh, for money?
For money, yeah, for books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, driving around a pickup truck with the check engine light on for 3 years, hoping every day the car doesn't break down. Yeah. So yeah, it was rough. But when I graduated, I was working at Sam's Club, and I had a job offer to be a manager there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I said, is this going to be my life?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not ready yet. So I just looked into, it was between South Korea and Shenzhen. Yeah, it's those main two. And I chose South Korea, not knowing I knew one K-pop song, and I saw Train to Busan.
What was the song?
I Got a Boy. Girls' Generation.
Girls' Generation, okay. Shout out to Girls' Generation.
Shout out to Girls' Generation. The only K-pop song I knew before. And here we are.
So I know a lot of people like to assume, like, K-Boo is clearly a lot of things people like to throw on. So you weren't that. You literally had no idea.
I couldn't point to it on a map.
So why, why just, I know you didn't want to be a Sam's Club manager. Again, no problem with that.
Yeah.
But how do you jump from, okay, I don't want to be a Sam's Club manager to let me move to South Korea, right? Like, that's a big jump.
So it's crazy. I'm Christian, and there was this guy we were at a bar, and he comes up to us, and kind of Texas is not really normal. There's this random guy by himself, kind of handsome. He's like, "Do you mind if I sit with you and your friends?" Which in America, it's kind of weird.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, he seems pretty normal. And he sat down, and I'm like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I actually live in South Korea." And I was like, "That's interesting." And he planted that seed. And sometimes I think, I don't know if it's divine intervention, but it's crazy how one person can just plant a seed into your mind. And I think he's kind of the catapult of the shift. Yeah.
Do you know his name?
We used to work together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And he just was like, "Hey, do this." How long? Okay, so from the time that you met.
When I moved to South Korea, he got me a job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, so you worked together and then you
met.
Oh, okay.
He was a stranger. Then I moved to South
Got
Korea, worked in a countryside town.
Okay.
And then he said, my school in Seoul has an opening at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that guy got you to South Korea as a random stranger. In Texas. What city in Texas you said?
This is Dallas.
Dallas,
But
Texas.
my college, UNT. Shout out UNT.
And I do believe in divine intervention. I'm Christian as well. And I think, I truly believe that people are put in your life. Because I had a somewhat similar situation. I was in Florida. I was working for a company. And each year they send their corporate office to the restaurant to like get familiar and see how it is to work in the restaurant. But I worked as a server and bartender. So so I know. So I was just like, I'm glad that they bring corporate to come. Anyways, during our lunch break, a guy sat down. He was a director of like another restaurant. And he was just like, yeah, I just moved back from Mexico with my wife and I. And he's like, you should travel. You know, like you're young.
Right.
Like you should really travel. And I remember going home. My boyfriend picked me up at the time, and I was telling him, I was like, we should move. Like, we should really, really move. The next day, his mom sends a message out of the blue. He never told her. I never told her. She sends a message like, hey, do you guys want to teach in South Korea? Literally the next day.
I believe it.
And I was like, did you tell her? He's like, no. Did you? I was like, no. And then it was like immediately, again, same. I didn't even know a K-pop song to reference. It was just like, something felt right about whatever that was.
It feels right.
Yeah, it feels right.
It's
so
crazy.
I'm glad to hear that. I know you've struggled through college, but I know it helped you, I guess, appreciate what you have now, right?
It helped me become the man I felt like I was meant to be.
Yeah.
It's so easy. My dad always said it's easy to spend other people's money. And boy, ain't that. You don't know how, until you're at a pawn shop, on food stamps, on unemployment, you don't know the struggle.
Yeah.
And it's hard, especially when you're in that hole, the way those payday loans and all that stuff, it's designed to keep you there. And coming out of that is so difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful to even be out of that position.
And I hate that because I see some of the comments and clearly you're coming on. So I was like going through comments because I do research and stuff. So it really frustrates when I see people that are just assuming like, oh, he thinks he has all these things.
Right.
Like, even if he does, you've worked right.
Yeah.
Not only how does that affect you, but like you've worked really hard to, to improve yourself in a lot of aspects, right? I'm sure physical, mental health, everything. And why are you upset at someone like enjoying their life? Yeah.
They only see, there's this meme of somebody climbing the stairs, and they only see you when you're at the top of the stairs. They don't see everything. They don't see all the unemployment, the food stamp line, the payday loan, the pawn shop, selling my Harry Potter, my Xbox, all that shit for some damn groceries. Yeah. Because I was on my own. Yeah.
I know the struggle.
But
you appreciate a lot of it now.
You do.
And Similar story. I had to work through school. I did get financial aid, but financial aid doesn't cover everything.
That paid my rent.
Yeah. Oh, it did?
A little bit.
Shout out to that, man.
But I still had, tuition
and books.
Books.
Why are books so expensive? I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with anything, but like seriously, how can we afford books? Were like $300. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't want to get into college. Shout outs to UCF, man. Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast. Shout outs to our universities.
Overpriced.
What have you learned? Like, how do you utilize your market? Because right now you're on TikTok and you have to somewhat put yourself out there.
Right. So. I'm trying to, I was obviously in college before TikTok. So a lot of it was based on just what we had at the time. I think what's helped me is my years of customer service and those face-to-face interactions as, serving.
For sure.
Agreed. Being relatable.
Relatable and having so many different characters to work with.
Right.
The serving industry.
Faces.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like if you ever saw the movie Waiting,
that's
perfect depiction of how it is to work at a restaurant/bar.
That's the classic.
Okay, now I'm going back to TikTok. Sorry, I'm gonna pause.
Fine.
I did want to get to know you a little bit prior, right?
Okay.
To kind of also get our viewers. But now let's pause on that and move forward to now social media. You're back in Korea. You were in Korea from 2017, and then you went home for a short period
about
of
6
time.
weeks, yeah.
For about 6 weeks. How was the time being back home?
Oh man, it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Because it made me two things. It made me realize I wasn't ready to move home, and it made me realize I had a home when I do go back one day, and I really needed. I didn't see my parents since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that was really, I needed that.
Yeah.
My heart was fulfilled. So that was really important for me to, just walk in the living room and see my parents. Just those little small nuances when you go home that you don't have for a year and a half or whenever you're living out the country. It also made me realize I'm not ready to go back yet.
Yeah. Would you go back to Texas, or do you think you could go somewhere else if you decide to?
It would have to be Texas.
Yeah.
I love just the rent's crazy, man.
Yeah, the rent's crazy.
The rent's since I've been in Korea, it's gone up like 30%. Something crazy number. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
DC too, I'm sure. That's a whole.
I can't live in DC.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot to factor in when you're an expat moving back home. But right now I'm comfortable, and I get that question a lot, and I don't mind, but I'm somebody, I don't even know what I'm doing next week.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I'm sure you know.
Right.
So I kind of cross those bridges when they come.
Yeah. And I feel you. There is times where you're going home, you're just like, man, I'm glad to be back. But yeah, I think I'm good where I am for now.
For now, yeah. It's not forever.
No. For now, for sure. Let's get into something that I really want to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so you also let me know what I can and cannot ask, or what you can and cannot answer. So TikTok is something, or not TikTok. It was on Instagram. Where was it posted, that video?
The incident was on TikTok.
It was on TikTok. Okay. So Pat recently had something that happened. I can't even say it. It's a lot more serious than something that happened. You were physically assaulted.
Incident when I was physically assaulted.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you just walk us through on live? So everything was there.
There was 150 people watching. Yeah.
Wow. And now it's probably in the millions at the point that I've seen it.
News and yeah.
But it should be, and
It should be
as crappy as it was.
It wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
But
so can you just walk me through?
Yeah.
Prior to that, what were you doing?
Prior to that, I was having an amazing night. Actually, I was in Itaewon seeing my friends. Went around, and my friend has a girlfriend, and she was like, "You better come home." So he had an early night. He had to catch the last train.
Right.
And it was like 11:30, and I was staying at the Hamilton, so I didn't really have anywhere to go. I didn't need a taxi or anything. And I was in my room, and it's kind of expensive. It's a little expensive there. So I was like, I don't want to just waste this moment if I'm in Itaewon. So I went on live looking for a cookie because I was hungry and I wanted a cookie.
I feel you. It
And
like
so
that sometimes.
I was on a live for like a whole hour.
Yeah.
And prior to that, I'm just showing the street. I'm completely sober. I'm showing the streets and all the people. And I pass an infamous club that another TikToker had talked about, that now instead of no foreigners, they say no blue IDs. And for the listeners, basically 99% of foreigners have blue IDs.
Right.
Right. So that's the new thing. And so I'm showing it. And as I'm showing it, they are denying foreigners. And this is all in life. And so I'm like, okay. And then I go back and I see another group of foreigners. And as soon as they're about to enter, a man from out of the frame, he was not in it, comes up to me and immediately touches me without any there was no verbal warning or anything like that. And you can see 38 seconds, but it was actually a 5-minute ordeal.
Yeah.
And it got way worse after the video. So that's kind of been the hard part of people just assuming what happened when it actually got dramatically worse after the video.
I am so sorry that you had to go through that. I watched the video a few times, and I think what I noticed was your reaction, because I know that feeling of feeling so like uncomfortable and also just like helpless, right? It's like no one's doing anything around you. You're literally being assaulted and people are all around and you're just like, no one, what am I doing? Like, what can I do? So what was going through your mind at the time?
My first thought literally was, this is how it feels. So I've never been assaulted before. And my second thought was, at least he doesn't have a gun. That's all I kept thinking. He doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
And I can't, they say it's like an out of body kind of experience when you go through something like that.
Yeah.
People are saying like I'm laughing and stuff, but the face that I'm making in the video, I don't even know how or why I'm making that face. That's not me laughing.
Right.
That's me completely in a state of shock. And somebody commented saying that's your body forcing yourself to smile to keep calm.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
I don't really know how true that is, but that went on and it got really bad, y'all, like after the video. And so that's why I can't legally say what's happening next, but it's gonna hopefully be taken care of.
Yeah. And even the video itself, like you said, someone said it's you looked very uncomfortable. Like you looked like I don't know how in people's minds they take your reaction, like your face, to mean that you're smiling and think this is funny. I don't understand how people's brain works, but I'm glad that you are seeking and moving forward this, because I think a lot of expats, when things happen to us abroad, I think we're nervous or afraid. One, we don't even know what to do, right? Like where to go.
No
like,
idea.
How does this work? Two, we're also a lot of aware that a lot of the times it's not in our favor, right? Like us against
most
them,
of the time,
right?
Actually, a lot of comments were like, "Don't even try, don't even try." I'm like, I'm not gonna not try.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you did, because a lot of us wouldn't. So what was the thing that you were like, you know what? Yes, I may not get very far, but I'm going forward. Like, what was the thing that pushed you to do it?
Because the 2 weeks before, my two friends, Black women, were assaulted. Not to the degree that I had, but they were, kind of shoved and pushed. And I'm like, I'm not going to let this continue.
Right.
That's all I kept thinking was, I don't want anyone to go through this, especially tourists are about to flood South Korea.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine, that happening to I can't imagine, because, South Korea is so hot right now. And it's thousands of dollars to come here and to spend so much money and to get denied. And I can't imagine that feeling. Like, what other country would you, if like before Korea, my passion was Brazil.
Right.
If I went to Brazil and I went to some bars that said no Americans, that would destroy me. And there's people that love South Korea, but they don't know the realities of it.
And that's why you feel it's important for you to share, because I know a lot of people get upset when you're like, oh, this is how it is. This is, this is the reality of the situation, especially in the pandemic. Is that kind of the reason? Because like, I don't want you to come here and you're upset. So let me help show you what it's really like.
I'm just realistic.
Yeah.
So I have no problem. It's the funny thing is I can give you all those hot cafes, trendy, handsome oppas. I can do that all day. But I can't go to sleep at night not talking about some realities that foreigners face.
Right.
And I kind of stick to my lane. There's other realities that Korean minorities face. That's a whole other subject. But I don't focus on those
Right.
because I kind of focus on the foreigner
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm. And mostly the POC experience. I think,
Mostly,
is
yeah.
geared
Emphasis.
towards, yeah,
Yeah.
emphasis.
It's
Let's add
Christensen.
that. But again, I do appreciate because I know not many people do talk about it. I think
Mhm.
the two women you're talking about, is that Asha? And
Asha was there, but it happened to Chris and my
oh,
friend Quandra.
oh, okay.
They went to. It was so funny because Chris, she moved to Germany. She's another TikToker.
Mm,
She moved to Germany and came back to visit South Korea.
mhm,
And my friend Quandra was like, "Oh, I know this club and they're Black friendly, blah, blah,
mhm,
blah."
mhm,
And for the first time in 4 years, they said no foreigners. Like
mhm,
the way they switch it up is so
mhm.
crazy.
It's very
Yeah. And so,
sometime-ish whenever they feel like it.
and
Yeah.
she had been going there for 4 years without any problem. And then
Mm.
now all these clubs switching it up.
Oh, actually, I've seen her video.
Mm,
I didn't put two and two. I've seen Asha's video first,
mm.
mentioning like, yeah, I was the person that was there, but now I'm
Connecting all the dots,
yeah,
right?
now the dots are connecting.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
It's
So it was just
crazy.
like an accumulation of this is happening to them, this is happening. It's not like a one-off, and it's like, okay, this is too much.
It's too damn
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
One's enough.
Right.
You shouldn't put your hands on anybody,
1000%.
regardless of the situation.
And you were literally not doing anything
Girl, I was across the
wrong.
damn street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recording
Mm.
something that's not illegal, right? Because you can't do, I think, what is it? Like private, like you can't be in someone's
I have no-
home or something. I don't
let
know.
the
I don't
lawyer
know the
figure that
laws. I'm
out.
not a lawyer
Okay.
either. But I don't think there's a law that you can't record a sign
Mm.
or a line, right?
We'll find out.
Guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. And if there is,
Yeah.
keep me posted on that. 'Cause
I'm sure it'll be on TikTok.
that's interesting if
Yes.
that's a law.
Yeah.
But again, I am so sorry
Oh,
that it's happening
it's okay.
and that you're going through this.
Mm.
It's no one, like you said, should ever have to face. And you were literally going out. Okay, I have to ask like the hard hitting question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if
It's
you don't
okay.
feel comfortable.
Go ahead.
What flavor cookie were you out to get? Because like honestly, it has to be worth it. What was the flavor of the cookie? What was it?
Someone said I was looking for Ben's cookies, which
Ben's?
No, I
Yeah,
wasn't.
Ben's? Oh, I was like, is there a Ben's here?
Girl, there's a Ben's cookies in Itaewon. Where you been?
Where in Itaewon?
Off
is
the
Ben's
main
cookie?
strip. Anyways, wait, how do you know Ben's cookies?
Because there's Ben's no, isn't there a Ben's in?
We don't have in Texas.
There's a Ben's somewhere in the States, or if I'm
we don't have
either way. What was the cookie that you were out there?
I just want a chocolate chip cookie.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's worth what you. I just.
Wasn't worth it.
It was not worth it. It was not worth it.
Yeah.
Trying to make light of a situation that was not funny, but
yeah.
Thank you.
I'll keep y'all
going through it.
posted.
Yes.
It's a very slow, long, expensive process.
Yeah.
So I don't like people think there's like these daily updates when y'all don't know how this works.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how it works
yeah,
either
we
until
live
he told me
here.
that I can't say the timeline. but
Yeah.
he gave me the timeline and I was like, oh,
This is
okay,
it.
that's kind of long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I touch on the expensive? So I've been also, like I said, I've been reading the comments. People are really upset that you started a GoFundMe, right?
A very small select group of individuals.
The haters of
The
the
haters.
internet.
The haters.
Do you want to just say something really quick, kind of explaining video form?
If you stop counting other people's money, I promise you'll live a happier life. And
Yeah.
there's no such thing. Oh, you know what? No, seriously, I want to say there's this idea of free legal help. That is. Everyone said, join Loft. Call the join.
Loft. Not the Loft.
They said, did you post in Loft? And what's Loft going to do? I'm going to look crazy.
Loft is us. We
are Loft. Also, this no shade to the Seoul Global Center, but they can only do so much. Like,
that's making me cry.
Girl, what am I doing with Loft? And so, the funny thing is, the number I posted wasn't even less than half.
Yeah. It's
I
such a small amount.
I was kind of being humble. It's my first time. I've never asked for money in my life because I'm too proud.
Right.
I will go to I will go to a damn pawn shop.
We heard you gave blood.
I have bloody fucking plasma scars.
There you go.
So I don't sit here and ask folks for money, except the government of Texas. But
as you should.
Hello. So when I didn't have an account. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I did it because the Korean Herald was going to put an article out. And he's like, I can put the link in if you want. I was like, okay, that would be good. So I just put a number down. And then I started getting estimates. And I was like, ooh, that was not what I expected.
Yeah.
Drastically more.
Yeah. As it should, though. Like you said, people have this misconception that like Soul Global Center can do all these things for free. And it's like, no, the process is going to to be a long process.
It's a long.
You're going to have to pay this person, that person, and like get this.
Every
and
damn
this,
phone calls. I can't say the number,
yeah.
but the money's almost gone.
Yeah.
Like y'all think lawyers are free? How do you think they make money? Like every time we have to talk, it's a consultation of a sort. So.
And you don't have to donate. I don't understand why people are upset that you're requesting don't give then.
So, you know what I did?
Yeah.
I turned off the funding and I privatized the link. So now I just keep the people who actually contributed, I keep them updated. Because if you didn't, it ain't your business.
Right.
You didn't help me.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here and let you see my updates when you had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
There's 54 people. And
I'm one of them. I saw
your
email.
You got the email.
Yeah,
see?
I got the email.
There we go.
I got the email.
So you got all the.
Yes.
You have what I have.
Yes.
That's all I have for now.
Good.
And yeah, it's just crazy seeing theories and about
the what?
Theories.
Oh, theories. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Counting. Someone said I went to a free cooking class, and on Reddit somebody said, "Oh, he's spending his money on cooking classes." I'm like, that was free.
But even if it wasn't, what is that? Like, what does that have anything to do with you? And even if I'm spending money on cooking classes.
So I know that's going to be my thing for the next however long I'm in. Oh, look at it. Like, I know my money's going to be counted. Yeah. And it's fine. What else? It's always something.
But they were counting your money before, right? Weren't they already like, oh, look, he's staying at this hotel. He's staying at that hotel.
I've never stayed at the Mondrian or any other 5-star hotel, for the record. I saw that also.
That's coming up soon, unfortunately. Like, who cares? Like, I haven't seen that, but I don't know.
I read multiple times that I've stayed. I wish I stayed at the Mondrian.
Yeah.
And other 5-star hotels. I stay at Love Motels. When I go to the Hamilton, it's once every 2 months.
Yes.
And I usually split it.
Okay.
Not that I had to explain that to anybody, but I was having this conversation yesterday. People see 1 or 2 minutes of you online and they just think they know you, this perception. But what you're seeing is a character and an over-exaggerated part of my personality.
Yeah.
So like when I dress up and I do all that, like that's
a part of who you are. It's not.
But it's a very exaggerated part for social media that I think I kind of play into, and people like, oh, he thinks he's different.
Because we listen, people enjoy the fantasy.
They
as much as they hate it, they love it.
They hate to see it.
They hate to see it and they love to watch. Because like the whole like the vibe that you give off on your social media, it's like if you were like wearing, like you would come down cascading down.
I do that for the drama.
But I enjoy it. And I guess that's what you're saying, how people like have this misconception of you.
Right.
But it's just like, it's so entertaining for me.
No one else is doing it.
Yeah.
So why not?
I love it. Have you ever, this is off topic, have you ever seen The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
No, I know about it though.
I've been watching the show.
What's the reference? Are you gonna reference something?
Yeah, the reference of her, like there's a stairs in the show where it's just made for people to like walk down. Like it's that nothing else happens. It doesn't go to anywhere. Like it doesn't go up.
It's only meant
It's just meant for people to stand around and watch. And that's what I envision your IG to be, where it's just like.
That's what it's
just entertainment. And that's what social media is, right?
Yeah. I just like inspiring, making people laugh. Being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then I show my real self. I'm live in a little country town. I don't care how I look on camera, which is why a lot of people just, I think, find me relatable. I don't do the lighting.
Yeah.
I just record. I press record. And so I know how to, when I dress up, I'm gonna let y'all know.
Yeah.
I look good.
And I'm gonna show you this plate.
And I'm gonna show you.
And you're gonna be mad.
Right.
And I'm going to do all these
things. I asked for a discount and they didn't give it to me, but I tried. Like.
I enjoy your content, so thank you for posting. Actually, I want to ask you something else about this whole, like, you said that it's a played up part of who you are. How did you land on this, I guess, character that you are, or,
I don't know. I think because I struggled for so long, like in my early 20s, I'll kind of want to celebrate life. We don't know what's happening tomorrow, let alone in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And so even before TikTok, I kind of wasn't like this, but then I had imposter syndrome when it came to Korea, big time, because this is a good story. When I lived out of Seoul, when I would take the bus to Seoul, and there's this, you have to walk through, when you exit, one of the exits is walking through the Shinsegae main store, which is, for those who don't know, it's like a Nordstrom?
Yeah.
What's Neiman Marcus,
Yeah,
right?
really upscale.
And I'm very, what's the word? Hesitant of like designer stuff like that. And so I would walk through there like feeling shamed because I just got off this 4-hour bus. I looked busted and they wouldn't look at me. And I'm like, okay. And one day I said, you know what? One day I'm going to dress up and I'm going to lift up my chest and I'm going to walk through the Shinsegae department store and I'm going to make them look at me. And so I took a 4-hour bus with I went shopping and I got a turtleneck. I look like a K-drama. This is my first time like buying like, nice clothes in South
this
Korea.
is when? What year?
This is like 6 months after I got here. Okay. So within a year of living in South Korea, because I still had all my American clothes, a little raggedy.
I know
Forever
your
21.
Texan clothes. No shade to Texas, but I'm Floridian, so I know there's a Texas uniform.
Florida can't talk either.
That's why I said I'm from Florida. I'm not mad at it.
And so I dressed up, and it's crazy. The present, like when you feel good, and it is a mindset.
Yes, it
and
is.
I walked through that department store and I said, I'll take this sample, I'll take this. Yeah. And I felt proud.
Yeah.
And I said, it's so crazy. I'm the same dude 3 weeks ago, just in a different clothes, and I did my hair. And I applied that to the rest of my life. I said, you know what? I'm going to dress up, I'm going to look good.
Yeah.
And when I look good, I feel good. And it's crazy how confidence kind of bothers people.
Yes.
But it could change their perception about you.
1,000%. Wow, I feel like we have so many similarities of that. I've had that similar issue where I came here, I had the Floridian clothes really, and that was just tough.
Yeah.
And it took me going back home actually to DC when I decided to come back, because I left here knowing I was returning. But I remember before I came back, I was like, I'm not going back the way I left, right? And so I was like, I'm going to put more time and energy. I lost a lot of weight when I went back home. So I was like, when I come back, I need to feel better about myself.
Right.
And you've seen the shift, I'm sure, in how people treat you versus when you were dressing in your, whatever, your slacks or your hoodies.
I don't know
or
what
stuff.
I was wearing.
Yeah.
Camo. I don't know. But yeah, I've seen, but also my mindset, it's completely different now. I'm drastically more confident and way more outgoing. I can't even, I'm sure you know that person when you first moved to Korea. She's gone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
She peeks out sometimes.
Sometimes?
But yeah, sometimes she's like, but overall, like it's, how to, I guess, walk into a room and feel like, okay,
and
you understand how Korea is, right?
I understand how Korea is.
A lot of people don't like to hear that, where it's like...
they have a word, lookism.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is a reality here. You do have to dress the part if you want to fit. I mean, even though we'll never fit in.
No.
Just know that now.
Yeah.
At least... I will say one thing I do, many things about South Korea, but one of the things I like is how much effort they put into looking good.
Yeah.
Which there is a toxic side to that. But Koreans, they know how to dress.
Yeah.
And they know how to put themselves together. They're very, there's a lot of emphasis on looking good.
Yeah.
So
it's important.
It's important.
It really is.
And it makes, I'm like, okay, damn, I'll dress up to go to the
grocery
grocery store.
Right?
They're like dressed up to go anywhere.
And even if it's not like a dressed up, it's like even their like bummy look where it's like hoodies or whatever. It's still well put together, right? It's still very much put together, and it's important to feel good about yourself.
Right.
Like I think that's where we're both like saying like it's okay to feel good, and I see you be working out and hitting the gym, and that is also a big aspect of it. So yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. This character was born out of I don't want to feel this way walking into these places.
Right. And Yeah, it was really that the whole Shinsegae department store and the realization of imposter syndrome and how you can, y'all, for the listeners, you can really become anybody you want. If you just act it, you can become it. And I know it's so cheesy.
No,
but
it's true,
real,
though.
man.
It's true.
If you envision all like this fancy, like one day I'm going to live in Asia and have a cocktail on a 5-star restaurant. And then here I am.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I was donating plasma for books.
Yeah, about to be a Sam's manager.
About to be a Sam's Club manager. Shout out to Sam's Club. But, you know, God had other plans.
Yeah. And that man stepped in your life to show you this ain't it for you, sir. You gotta break this cycle of
the cycle,
paycheck to paycheck or table to table. Because you know you was spending all your money that same night.
Because you know how it is, getting paid in cash.
Yeah.
Cash is gone.
Yeah, you go to the store, restaurant, drink it through. At least maybe that was my story. I don't know. Okay, cool. I saw on social media that her name is I actually follow her. Kristen. Thank you. Kirsten.
I did the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Kirsten, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You reached out to me on Instagram a year ago, and I'm still going to invite you onto the podcast. Yeah, she had messaged me, I think, before she even got to Korea.
Oh, dope.
And she saw that I had this, and she's like, I would love to come on. I was like, hey, this is what I'm back still in.
She's leaving soon. You better hurry.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, June 12th.
Oh, wow. That's like in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or end of May. Okay, anyways. So Kirsten reached out to me a year ago, so it's crazy how the world works. And she started a project, and you know a little bit more about it. So can you share with the fam?
I'll let her talk about her. So she has 2 projects. She has one that's actually for her academic research. About, I don't know the details, but it's an emphasis on being Black abroad, I believe.
Okay.
But please ask her.
Right.
But the second project is kind of so with all the rise of recent discrimination with foreigners at these nightclub establishments, I saw that she was working on a project kind of highlighting friendly places for POC to go. And I kind of reached out to her. I was like, hey, oddly enough, this has been a discussion since I landed in our Facebook group. Everyone's like, someone should make a guide. Everyone always says it every year, but nobody ever does it. And I thought, okay, this is the perfect timing. And so me and her teamed up, and it's her project. She is the mastermind. I'm just helping with because I have the audience, but I want her to
humble brag.
No, because
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to overstep her.
Yeah.
But so I try to make it very clear that she is the mastermind. I'm not I'm just trying to help her get the message around. So anyways, we put a team together, and basically the project is going to focus on BIPOC friendly places around South Korea with emphasis on being brown and Black friendly, because unfortunately the Black and brown experience is different. And even the brown experience is different from the Black and the Black experience. Yeah.
It's vastly
too
different.
much.
Yeah. So this is you're going to be posting greenlit places that are accepting Black and brown people. Is this only for clubs, or is this for, what is the focus on?
It's a focus on nighttime establishments.
Nighttime,
so bars, clubs, and basically bars and clubs.
Okay.
We are doing Jeju, Daegu, Daejeon, Seoul, and Busan.
Okay, so the bigger cities.
The largest, yeah. Unfortunately, no Gwangju. I don't know why that didn't happen. But and we put together a list of the most popular places that you should have no problem getting into. And we vetted it. There's been lots of so what we've been doing, we put out the list and then we get feedback privately, because due to laws in Korea, you can't publicly say anything. And so we privately get feedback, and then we remove it. We put up a second draft, get more feedback. And now we're on our last draft.
Okay. And where can people, so has it been posted yet? Or
nope,
is it still,
not yet.
Okay.
Still in the final draft. The graphic designer's working on everything. Okay. It should be hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
And when it does get posted, where can people go to?
Let me get Kirsten's Instagram. Okay. So you can go either to my page at the Expat Pat, and then let me get Kirsten's.
And I'm just going to quickly shout out one of my favorite places, just because we're talking about it, to Lit in Gangnam.
Black owned.
Yes, Black owned. Jason. He's been on the podcast before. And
Pinnacle?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
nice.
Been on, when V was here. So if you are in town, it is Black owned, both Lit and Hustle. I'm sure once the thing goes live, you guys can go to the other ones, but that's just going to be the one that I'm going to clearly advocate for.
So Kirsten's Instagram is K_KEEEELS.
Okay,
And
I'll add that here too.
Okay, I'm sure you can link it or something.
Yeah.
And you can either go to my Instagram page or hers, and hopefully the next 2 weeks, free downloadable PDF. That's it. And it'll obviously be on TikTok and Reels. We're really excited.
Kirsten, thank you for creating that. Because like you said, I think people have already talked about, like, man, I really wish there was we have a
for years.
blacklist or green list for the schools. Why don't we have this for clubs and places?
There is a list for the schools.
So
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So I'm glad that someone actually was just like, yeah, we need it. Let's stop talking about it and let's do it.
Let's
do
it.
Shout
we
out
always
to
talk.
you. Yeah. Shout out to Kirsten for doing that. And I know a lot of people have been scared to come, but I still would tell people guys should still come if this is something that you want to do, if this is a place you want to visit. These are the realities. There are going to be some difficulties if you are a person of color, or even if you're not a person of color, but you're just from, you're not Korean.
If you're not
Korean, right.
You may or may not.
You may or may not.
Yeah. And there's some POC who've never experienced anything.
Yeah.
There's some POC day one at the damn airport. So I can't really tell you.
Yeah. Come and figure it out, right? Yeah. But here are some great information, some tips. I would always suggest to... We have 10 minutes and I have a game. But I would always suggest to follow Pat. But before the 10-minute, I do want you to plug your socials one more time.
Sure.
And then I'm going to quickly play this or that game.
The Expat Pat, TheXpatPat. Also, my name is controversial. I didn't know. Expat.
Why? Oh, Expat. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, I've been getting called Pat since... Pat? Pat. It's like my name's Patrick.
Yeah.
And my nickname was Pat for like the past 15 years. And so when I moved to South Korea, I changed my Instagram name. Before it was like Saint Patricio. And then I found out, thanks to TikTok, I have a controversial name.
Because it's expat. What do they want you to call immigrant?
Girl,
Pat?
Immigrant. Patrick the immigrant.
Patrick the immigrant.
Whatever.
I know people are upset. They're like, oh, why is it like people that are Americans that you guys are not expats, but if it's someone from like
yeah, I know. I really do get the argument. Oh my God. But my name.
It rhymes.
It rhymes, girl.
Expat Pat. Nobody wants to follow the immigrant Pat. I would not want to follow somebody that's called Pat the immigrant or something. I mean, I would still follow, but it doesn't have the same ring, right?
Know.
When you're trying to find a name, you want something that people can easily like remember. Expat Pat, immigrant Pat.
It wasn't so.
It's not the vibe. You have a very quick game.
Let's do it.
On our podcast, we used to have a drinking game at the end, but clearly because I'm now matured, and so don't act like I had a drinking problem. I did. We'll talk about that on another episode, but this will just be a quick game, just to end it off.
Okay.
So one of my questions is, what is your highest point in Korea? What has been your high and your low? I think I can sum up what your low is, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not even it.
You know what? No. Okay. Actually, that was.
I'm glad. So my assumption was wrong. That's why you should not assume. What is your high and low? What?
There was this moment that I had to go from Gangnam to... I was living around Songsu at the time. Anyways, I had one of those scooters. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I was sober.
Okay.
I was leaving a friend's house. And I went the whole ride, and I had the entire city to myself. And this is like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And the wind was blowing. And the night, I think I saw 2 human beings. I didn't even see any cars. Yeah. And it was one of those moments, I swear to God, it felt like, I'm going to give you this moment for you to remember. And I went through all of Seoul. Just the weather was perfect. And I just crossed the bridge. And it was I had Seoul to myself. It was, I can't even describe it. And that was a memory. I didn't record nothing. I didn't touch my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm just going through Seoul all by myself. And I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I made it.
Yeah.
That's
a beautiful
highest
story. And it's something so like, it's not like, oh, I was on a great trip. It was just like, man, I was just living on my scooter.
It was me and the universe and Seoul.
Yeah.
And I don't have a memory. It will only ever exist here.
Wow, that's beautiful. And so, I guess from your high, what would be one of your lowest points?
My low was working at a really horrific job, unfortunately, and kind of not knowing what to do because your visa is dependent on your work, and so I was in a really bad position where I didn't know how to quit it. I didn't, nobody knows how to quit and whatnot.
Especially when your visa depends on it.
When your visa depends on it. And so, yeah, I think that was my first time kind of not knowing the future of my visa. But the treatment at that job and yeah, it was pretty bad. My mental health was really bad that time. But we rise above.
But you rose above it. You came back and you're in a different situation. So shout outs to that. And now you have that memory in your head of that great night by yourself at 2 a.m. in the morning on your scooter.
And getting recognized is nice too.
And getting I know, Mr. I want to be humble. Why? Listen, you built this life for yourself, All right, next question. Where's the most interesting place that you visited in Korea?
Yangyang. It's so slept on. You guys have to go to Yangyang.
What is there to do?
It's like a different world, man. It's like kind of Hawaii, kind of. The vibes are different. Yeah. It's a surfing town. There's a bar on the beach. There's fireworks. There's a DJ, and just oh my God, it's one of the coolest places.
It's country Korea. Like you just feel more. Do you feel more at like home, Texas home, where it's like a lot more?
It's in the country, but it's building up a lot.
Oh, okay. Yangyang.
Yeah,
I know of it, but I've never been.
You gotta go. A lot of people don't.
Near Gangneung?
Yes, that area.
I lived in Gangneung for a year.
Girl, oh, okay.
Oh, Yangyang Beach?
Yes.
Oh, I've been. Surfy Beach. I've been to Surfy Beach.
Yeah.
I spent the night there. I loved it.
Did you go? Did you see the DJ at the
I was at the DJ. That was actually one of my high nights. That was in. I didn't realize Yangyang had the same name as Surfy Beach.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to Surfy Beach.
And there's like pool lounges there. Yeah, I love that area. And Yosu. One more. And not Paju. Pohang? What's near North Korea?
I'm not even gonna act like I know. Standard.
Paju.
Okay.
Paju's dope.
Got it from our studio manager. Shout out to Xander. Paju. Okay, so Paju, Yangyang, and Yosu?
Yes.
Okay. Next question. Okay. Do you feel, which we've kind of already talked about it, so I'm going to skip it with the question. Do you feel you succumb to Korean beauty standards, but in some sort of way you kind of just...
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because I've been offered free plastic surgery and no shade, but I'm good. I'll take the, anything facial, skincare related, but people got to understand the scope of beauty, Korean beauty is going to be different than Western beauty. They're not trying to look like Kylie Jenner over here. They have their own unique beauty standards. Right. And so I have yet to, and I never will succumb to the proportions of Korean beauty standard.
Right. And like actually cutting open your face and
and
no shade if you do that, man. That's your face, your body, do what you want, but I completely agree. I can't even see myself laying on it.
I don't know what I would do.
I'm terrified. Because if I come out hating it, I would be actual depressed.
Yeah.
And I don't like to use that word. I would literally be depressed.
But as far as their skincare, I love their emphasis on taking care of your skin, and I had mad acne before Korea.
Your skin is fantastic. I'm looking at it in studio with all the lights, you guys. Very nice skin. So
imagine
cured it
before.
No.
Yeah, it used to.
Shout out to Korea, man. Yeah. And last question.
Yes.
This is gonna be such a low question coming. No, it's not hard. Well, yes, actually.
On
a scale of 1 to 10, how are you rating Korean chicken?
Girl, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, right? I can't wait to go eat some chicken later.
Honestly, it's close to a 10.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, y'all. When I had that damn chicken, I said, hold up. Y'all know how to make some damn chicken.
You're from the South, so
yeah.
And that's why I asked this question, because people are like, this is your last question. But yes, he's from Texas. I'm from Florida. We're from the South. Southerners do know how to fry some chicken, right?
Yeah. It's different. It's different.
It's different.
But it's damn good.
It's about a 9.5.
Especially if you have some, chimek, some beer with it.
Beer and some soju. Amazing.
They know what they're doing.
Thank you so much, Pat, for joining me in studio as the first ever guest of Sobe Podcast. I can't even say season 2 because this is the first season of Sobe.
New era.
Technically, second season of Soju Black. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this is not the last time.
I hope it's not either.
If you guys do enjoy this and you'd like to see Pat back, please comment, like, subscribe, follow me on my Instagram. It's going to be at the Sobe Pod, and my personal, which is at Miss Keeds, Keeds. And then, of course, follow Pat at the Expat Pat. I will have both of these linked below and somewhere on the screen, I'm sure. And thank you guys joining me today. I will be back with some more guests. maybe a few other guests. We'll see. We'll play with this, you guys. Give me any comments, any ideas, opinions. Comment below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Wow, good interview.
Thank you.
That went by.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay, we're done.
I feel like we could have kept talking.
You know what? I felt so too. And that's why I'm going to invite you on for another time.
Go ahead.
When you're here.
I got to come back and talk to
because I already tried to lock you in for like a monthly thing. Because I was like, hey, do you want to do this like maybe once a month?
I was hoping you would ask.
I did.